Hi, it's Maria Milito from Q104.3, and I am so very excited today to talk with Emily Wolfe. 2023 World Suicide Prevention Day benefit is happening on Sunday, September 10th at the Bowery Electric in New York City. Now, it's going to be this amazing night. It's going to include powerful performances, stories, special guests, all supporting the American Association of Suicidology. Now, you can learn more about the event. You can donate. You can get your tickets, suicidology.org/benefit. But the big star of the night is with me right now, and I'm so very thrilled to introduce Emily Wolfe, who will be performing on Sunday, September 10th. Now, Emily, you've been doing this for a really, for a long time. They call you a triple threat because you're a songwriter, you're a singer, you're a guitarist. So that is like amazing. What is your favorite thing of all of those? Guitarist, singer, songwriter, or all the above?
Guitarist for sure. I kind of consider myself a guitar player that happens to sing.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
And when did you start playing guitar?
When I was 5.
Wow.
Yeah, a long time ago. I've just done it my whole life. It's my favorite thing to do. So,
Wow.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
did you come from a musical family or you just picked up a guitar at 5?
I didn't really come from a musical family. My mom sang in church and everything when I was younger. And I had an uncle who had a bluegrass band, but that's about
Mm.
it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I kind of just picked it up. I don't know. There's something about the guitar that I was really drawn to it at a young
Right.
age.
That's
Yeah.
pretty cool. That's
Yeah.
great. I mean, that's
Thanks.
exciting. Like a 5-year-old picking up, like, did you perform for your family and everything? Sing songs?
Man, no, I was actually super shy. So I had this weird thing. I didn't want anyone to see me make a mistake. And so I wanted
Uh-huh.
to be perfect right off the bat. So I would just like lock myself in my room and play
Uh-huh.
and just be like very like, learn everything I could and not show anybody until I just felt like I was really confident in it. So I
Uh-huh.
didn't really play in front of anybody until college. Kind of nuts.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what was that like? Like the first time, was it scary or was it like, oh my God, I should have been doing this, at 5, which you were. But I mean, was it a scary thing or was it?
Yeah, it was. It was scary, but it was also one of those things that, like you said, I thought to myself, I should have gotten out of my shell sooner. But at the same
But
time,
still, yeah,
we
you're in
all have,
college. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Like everything happens for a reason, timing wise. And the fact that you did it in college, it's not like you were 50 and said, oh, I should have done this when I was in college. You're in college.
yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
good.
I played at the coffee shop in college for the first show, and
Uh-huh.
yeah, it was, my roommate and I had this little band, and we played in college a lot. And that was about it. And then it just kind of
Wow.
snowballed from there. Yeah.
Did you have who are your favorites growing up? Like people who influenced you? Anyone in particular? A bunch of bands? I mean, you said your
Mm,
uncle, bluegrass, probably, right?
yeah. Well, so I wasn't really influenced by bluegrass, but I did love his passion for playing music, and I think that's
Hmm.
kind of what I took from him. But um, I guess influences were a lot of rock, like a lot of classic rock. Um,
Uh-huh.
so my dad introduced me to like Led Zeppelin and Black Sabbath, and then my mom had Motown on all the time. So it was like
Nice.
those two worlds kind of combined.
Sure.
So I kind of learned how to write a song by listening to the arrangement of Motown songs, and then kind of learned to play guitar by listening to classic rock, and then just melded them together as I got older.
That's pretty cool. I mean, that's a
Yeah.
talent. No, seriously, that's tough to do. I
Oh,
mean, no, but it's true. It is tough to do. I mean, from somebody like me just doing radio and playing that and, seeing bands all these years, that's really, I think it's a talent and it's tough to do that. So that's pretty,
oh,
it's great that you do that and you must love it.
thanks.
You
I
love
do.
it.
I love it.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's great. I love it.
that's
Yeah.
good. And you have a tour coming up, right? In another week or so, you're going out on
I
tour.
do. Yeah, yeah. First week of August, we start and we go for a couple of weeks. It's a little short one, but it'll be a lot of fun. I'm excited. So.
Sure. And I'm sure before you go out on tour, there's a lot of physical and mental prep because being on the road is tough, right? And, we're talking about mental health and what are some of the things that maybe that you've thought about or like tips that you can give for people who are going out? Because I mean, it's hard. You probably, you leave your family behind, your friends, you're on the road. It's grueling. You love it
Hmm.
and enjoy it, but since you've been doing it, do you have some tips that you've learned over the years?
Yeah. My biggest tip is exercise.
Mhm.
Um, it's really tough to do because a lot of times, like, musicians that I know, including myself, sometimes will think that, well, I'm playing a show, that's exercise, but it's really not. It's like waking up in the morning and trying to do some type of physical activity. It keeps your mental health, stable. And it is such a bizarre kind of life being on the road because every venue is different, every crowd is different, every response is different, and there's no consistency. And for me, mental health comes from that, from
Mhm.
consistency and routine, and so trying to figure out any kind of schedule and routine based thing for yourself is what helps me. And then in the van, those long drives, like I bring a Rubik's cube like every
Oh,
tour and
fun.
just
Yeah, yeah.
try, by the end of it to have it solved. I've never solved it, but it's a great time waster.
No, it
And it
is,
kind
and
of,
that's
yeah,
good. Yeah.
yeah. So there's that, and sleep, a lot of sleep. That's another big thing.
Mhm.
So a lot of times, like musicians will go on the road and want to party all night, but it's just not sustainable.
Right.
So sleep and exercise and keeping your hands busy.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I think sleep is so, I think to me, sleep is so very important that I think it doesn't get the credit that it's due. And I think, especially with like type A personalities and people who work all the time and like, oh, well, I can function on 4 hours sleep. Like that's a badge of honor. And it's not because I think that affects you mentally. I mean, I know when I'm tired, when you're tired, you don't, you're kind of short in the sense of your attitude is a little bit off, right? Your
Yeah.
patience are short. So sleep, I'm thrilled that you said that because I think sleep is so very important.
Yeah, and it's interesting too because in like our society, the American society, it's like go go go. Like you
Yeah.
sleep, you're weak if you sleep, but it's like
Yes.
it's such an important thing to reset yourself so you can be present in your life for other people. And yeah, I think
Absolutely.
it's interesting like how sleep is kind of viewed, but I
I
hope it's kind
know.
of changing,
I hope
changing.
so too. I mean,
Yeah,
honestly, I take naps all the time, and
yeah,
I think it's healthy to talk about and admit to taking naps. But it's true. Sometimes, I mean, someone will say like, oh, like as if it's weak. I'm weak because I took a nap. No, 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 because I know it resets my brain and then I can move forward. So,
hmm,
I think you're right. I think the more that it's talked about and, like you and I are sharing what we do, we take naps, we sleep,
yeah, hmm,
it's
yeah,
power, it's not a, a, a sign of weakness or anything. So,
totally.
yeah.
Yeah, really important for mental health too, and just yeah, I mean, I know like there are times on the road when I am so exhausted that I get really emotional and I'll just
Yes.
cry. And I'm like,
Yes.
why am I crying? And it's because I'm physically
You're
and
exhausted.
mentally
Yeah.
exhausted. Yes. So sleep is,
Yeah.
I mean, everybody needs it and it's not a weakness at all. I think it's honestly a badge of honor to be like, I took a little cat nap and now I
That's right.
feel good. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's good. So no, those tips are great. So it's sleep and exercise and your Rubik's cube. I think that's really
Yeah.
smart.
Yeah, some other
That's
bands I've
good.
seen bring, yeah, like hacky sack,
Mm.
or like Sudoku or crossword puzzles, like keeping your mind kind of doing something that doesn't have anything to do with the road is
Hmm.
helpful too, um, because it's so consuming being out there.
Sure.
But yeah, that's what I do.
No, those
Yeah,
are great tips. I think those are great tips. I mean, those are
cool.
tips that you do and they work for you, right? Because it keeps you stable and it keeps your mentally and physically on top of your game. So
Yeah.
those are great tips.
Cool. I'm so
Yeah, they
glad.
are. No, that's great. I think we should talk about those tips on stage on the 10th
Yeah,
because it's want to help people and help people feel at their best and to be stabilized and everything.
for
Um,
sure.
what would you tell someone who is just starting out? What would if they asked you, like, Emily, give me a tip? What would be like your nugget of wisdom that you would give to a new artist? If you have one,
Mm,
and it could be you have a dozen, or maybe it's, something you haven't really thought about.
yeah. Oh man, I have so many. I think the biggest one for me is that it's not gonna be one thing isn't gonna make or break your career. So
Mm,
there's like this whole kind of, idealized concept that there's gonna be one thing or one show or one big break. And knowing and having the expectation that that does not exist, that it's everything's a stepping stone to the next.
mhm, mhm.
Knowing that going in will make things a lot easier. Because for me, I didn't have that going in, and I for years I was waiting on that one thing to break
Right.
me out, and it just doesn't exist, and it really took a toll on me mentally.
Mhm.
Um, but so that's one is just, everything leads to the next thing. Everything's a stepping stone. There's no big break. And then another big one is, do not compare your career to anyone else's, because
Mm,
everybody has their own journey and path and everybody's different. And
mhm.
um, so, you can't compare, you know, okay, take like meatloaf and oranges or whatever. You can't take those and be
Right.
like, well, I like this one better, because they're totally different foods. It's like
Right.
everybody has different strengths and weaknesses and gifts and passions. And so for me, I have to constantly remind myself that I'm on my own journey, and
Mhm.
you know, there's no time limit for that. There's no
Right.
finish line. It's just going to be going forever,
Right.
because the kind of career that I want to have is like a timeless one, like one that just lasts no matter what,
Right.
decade it is. So
Sure.
yeah, I'd say that, just don't
No,
compare
that's
yourself,
good.
and then yeah,
Yeah, I mean, basically what you said, it's a marathon, it's not a sprint,
yeah, totally,
Yeah. Yeah. And I think when people compare themselves, I think it's an unhealthy thing to do. And it could really, I think it can mess you up mentally to do that
for sure.
because it's kind of unrealistic to do it. And we've all done it at some point, you know, but it's cool to hear you say that because, it's just it's I think that's great advice, to give
Cool.
to someone, to anyone actually, but especially someone who's young and starting out. And so
Yeah, yeah,
so I think it's really
great.
cool that you're going to be performing at the show in September at the Bowery Electric. So what does it mean to you to be performing that night?
I'm excited to be a part of something this special. I think, suicide awareness it's not really talked about, and mental
Mhm.
health is there's such a stigma with mental health, and
Mhm.
and I want to be a part of the movement that normalizes prioritizing mental health. So I'm excited to be a part of it. I think it's going to be a great event, and I think it's going to really help people feel, um, hopefully, more accepted with however they bring,
Mhm.
whatever mental headspace they bring, like to
Mhm.
feel like they can accept that themselves and they won't be judged. So I think it's great that there's going to be an event um,
Mhm.
with that idea.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm excited that we're both going to be part of it and
Yeah,
everyone else who might join in with us. So,
yeah,
it's going to be
it'll be
great.
fun.
It is going
Hmm.
to be fun. It's going to be a great night. It's going to be in September, on September 10th at the Bowery Electric. So, Emily, I do appreciate your time. I know you're busy and I know you probably have a million things to do before you head out on your tour. I'm sure,
Oh,
right?
I do, but this is very important, and I'm so glad to be talking to you and promoting the show. So yeah,
Excellent.
thanks for having me.
Well, absolutely. Thanks for taking the time out to talk. Thank you, Emily. We'll see you on September 10th. And as a reminder, if you want to get your tickets, if you want to donate and find out more, you can go to suicidology.org/benefit. So thank you, and we'll see you on September 10th.
Cool. See you then.